While Doctor Who likes to present itself as a show for all the family, it's no stranger to pitch-black horror moments. It's rare that an episode airs without someone dying, and for tea-time viewing, it can get pretty dark sometimes, especially when a character kicks the bucket in a spectacular fashion in such a way that sticks with you simply because you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that demise. I'm Rich, welcome to WhoCulture, and these are the 10 most terrifying deaths in modern Doctor Who. Number 10. Murder on the Orient Express. Responsible for multiple deaths on the Orient Express, but in space, it's Doctor Who, just go with it, the foretold resembled an ancient mummy who would only appear to the person about to die. Usually preying on the weak and vulnerable, the mummy would have their victim dead in 66 seconds from the moment they appeared, making their final minute-ish alive rather terrifying. Unleashed on the passengers of the space train as a cruel experiment, the true antagonist, Gus, eventually lets the foretold loose on anyone, irrelevant of standing ailments. The Doctor being one such person, of course. While neither reasoning, pleading, nor bullets would stop the foretold, the Doctor eventually established what it was, a soldier fighting an endless war. The Doctor relieves the soldier of his post, and he turns to dust. Still managed to take several passengers with him though. Nasty. Number 9. Flatlining. One of Doctor Who's more unusual villains, the Boneless harvested and experimented on human physiology by turning them 2D. A space-age steamroller, basically. Leaving their victims' cross-sections as artwork on the walls of Bristol, the Boneless attempted a slow invasion of our dimension. One such example of this excruciating process was the unfortunate death of PC Forrest, who was sucked into a rug, letting out one of the most blood-curdling screams heard on Who in the process. Upon Clara and Riggs' investigation, only her central nervous system remained, splayed across the wall like live, laugh, love in a middle-aged woman's home. The Boneless even went as far as to wear these cross-sections as pseudo-skins in an attempt to make themselves three-dimensional, eerily puppeteering the dead in the process. Number 8. The Praxeus infection. While the political influence of the Praxeus plot fell apart a bit at the end, the titular infection itself was a pretty nasty thing to catch. How apt for an episode that aired in 2020. Once infected, this bacterial disease began to turn a human into what looked like a scaly stone. Relatively slowly at first, but it would eventually suddenly overwhelm the victim, exploding them into nothing but dust. Having been released on Earth by alien scientist Suki, who herself succumbed to the virus, serves you right, Praxeus is in fact an alien pathogen which destroys plastic. And that doesn't stop the microplastics that we humans have inside us thanks to pollution, and there's the politics. The Doctor did manage to cure the infection worldwide in one fell swoop, which is great for Praxeus, but I wouldn't mind that happening for us right now, wouldn't you? Number 7. Killer Satnav. Of all the things Doctor Who has made scary, statues, shadows, plastic chairs, no, seriously, the Sontarans' reintroduction to the Whoniverse was through them targeting folk who can't read a map. After journalist Jo Nakashima uncovered the plot for the Atmos devices to bring about the end of our world, she hopped into her Atmos-installed vehicle for a hopefully leisurely drive to Unit. Her Satnav had other plans. After leading her in the wrong direction, the Satnav parked her on the edge of a river. Whilst troubleshooting, it was announced that this was Jo's final destination. The doors locked, the control was taken away from her, and Atmos launched her car into the river, drowning her in her own motor. Next time you take a trip, grab a map. The worst you'll get is a paper cut. Number 6. Scooty's Orbit. When Sanctuary Base 6 came under attack in 2006 as the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, trainee maintenance officer Scooty was the unfortunate first soul to be lost to the devil's shenanigans. After discovering archaeologist Toby stood outside with no spacesuit, she attempted to communicate for help. With the systems blocked, Toby turned around, demonic and all, raised his fist, and broke the window, keeping the vacuum of space at bay. The security doors were locked, so Scooty had nowhere else to go but outside. Toby was covered due to his possession, but Scooty got absolutely nowhere in the blackest depths. Whilst the remaining crew scrambled to locate her, the Doctor spots a figure floating against the darkness. As the crew mourned, Scooty drifted closer to the point of no return. What would have been going through her mind as the window broke? Probably best not to think about it. Number 5. Sucker to Death. More baffling than the egg whisk, the Dalek's plunger has been a fascinating tool in the world of Doctor Who. Whilst we saw some proprietary plungers in 1988's Remembrance of the Daleks, it was 2005's Dalek that truly showed what the concave rubber thing was capable of. After Simmons mocks the revitalized Dalek, its plunger latches itself onto him, covering his mouth and nose, and crushes his skull under immense pressure. Yes, you were going to get suckered to death, mate. Come the end of Series 2, the Cult of Skaro's collective plungers had another moment in the spotlight. When Dr. Singh agrees to give the Daleks information, instead of regaling a tale of Earth or something, he's forced to kneel, as the Daleks will extract the information themselves. Their plungers surround his head as he screams in immense pain, and all that was left after this download was a charred skull. Yipes. Turns out they can do more than just unblock a toilet. Number 4. The Touch of an Angel. Arguably the most iconic foe introduced in New Who, the Weeping Angels are just terrifying in their jump scare execution, and the way they defeat their prey is truly horrifying. The Doctor himself puts it best: they kill you nicely. They make you live to death. The angels zap their victims back in time and feed off the energy of the life you would have lived. Imagine losing your entire life, your loved ones and your possessions, just to know that one day they'll be there, but the crossover is minimal, even if you live long enough to see them again as an old person. It's such a slow and bleak way to go, but it could be over in a flash, since an angel could just snap your neck if that served them better. Don't blink. Blink and you're dead. Number 3. Don't drink the water. Statues, shadows, sat-navs, now water? Doctor Who really wants to leave you trembling at everything that bloody exists. 2009's The Waters of Mars sees an alien parasite known as the Flood infect Bowie Base 1's water supply, and subsequently, the doomed crew. The infected feature whited out eyes and cracked, blackened mouths. Water gushes from every orifice, and it's actually kinda horrid to look at. A single drop of water can doom a human being, so this was a right toughie for the Doctor to get out of. The crew are picked off one by one, with Steffi's dead silent transformation honestly being one of the most horrifying scenes in this story. The Flood are defeated after being nuked and left on Mars, but it's not a threat the survivors will ever forget. Number 2. Her name was Joy. The overarching enemy of the Matt Smith era were the Silents, a religious order that also employed the services of these bald sacks in suits. Definitely the Doctor Who parallel to the Slender Man, a Silence party trick is the ability to make anyone who saw them forget they were even there. Come their debut in 2011's The Impossible Astronauts, Amy enters the bathroom in the White House to be greeted by one of these creatures inside. Following her in was a White House staffer who proceeded to laugh at the creature thinking it was just a dude in a costume. But could Dave from accounting really pull this off? The Silent raises its arm, lets out an arc of electricity, and pops the woman like a balloon. Amy, frozen and mortified, witnessed the Silent remark, "Her name was Joy." Nasty way to go. At least Amy forgot the entire ordeal happened, I guess. Number 1. Game Station Exterminations. One of the darker moments of the revival era, the parting of the ways saw Christopher Eccleston's Doctor off after a magnificent series, but it wasn't without a mass extermination beforehand. As the Daleks descended on the game station, which we know to be Satellite 5, irrelevant of whether they were fighting or hiding, everyone met the same egg whisk fate. Those hiding on Floor 0, including this dickhead Roderick who doesn't believe the Daleks even exist, were all exterminated en masse by a group of pepperpots. Their screams of terror haunted Linda Moss, who was soon to be subjected to a somehow worse fate. While those attempting to hold back the Daleks from Floor 500 were zapped away, Jack included, Linda was supposedly safe behind meteor-proof glass and a big-ass door. However, Daleks emerged against the blackness of space on the exterior, breaking the exoglass with a single shot, subjecting Linda to the vacuum of space. Whether she was shot on sight or left to float through nothingness like Scooty, we simply don't know. Either way, it's a devastating way to go. Wow, that was kinda bleak, but that is our list. Are there any other notorious deaths in Doctor Who that should be here? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to WhoCulture if you haven't already, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for supporting WhoCulture since its launch last year. It really does mean a lot to me and the folks working on this channel. I hope you continue to watch and share the videos and join the discussion in the comments for uploads to come. I have been Rich. You can follow me on Twitter at PickupChangeToe and on Twitch at RichIsLive. Take care of yourselves. Seriously. Thank you again, and goodbye.